Patience will change your life.
Everyone wants results. Fast results, clear results, results they can see, but life doesn't work that way. Some of the most important things take time. And the hardest part is, nothing seems to be happening while everything is actually changing. So people quit, not because they are weak, but because they don't see progress. They don't understand that patience is not waiting. Patience is trusting while nothing makes sense. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Elena. Elena was not extraordinary. She wasn't the smartest in her class. She wasn't the most confident. She wasn't the one people noticed. She was just consistent. And sometimes that felt like a disadvantage. Elena worked in a small publishing office. Her job was simple: read manuscripts, edit small errors, send emails. Every day looked the same. And every day she felt the same quiet thought inside her. Is this all my life is going to be? She had a dream, not a big, loud dream, just a quiet one. She wanted to write a book, not for fame, not for money, just to prove to herself that she could create something meaningful. So she started. Every night after work, she wrote. Not much, just a few pages, sometimes only a paragraph. Sometimes nothing felt right. Sometimes she deleted everything, but she kept going. At first it felt exciting. The beginning always does. New ideas, new energy, new hope. But after a few weeks, that feeling disappeared. The words became heavy. The story felt slow. Progress was invisible, and doubt became louder. One night she closed her laptop and whispered to herself, "This isn't working." She stared at the screen, thinking about quitting. The next morning on her way to work, she stopped at a small bookstore. Not to buy anything, just to escape her thoughts. Inside, an old woman was arranging books on a wooden shelf. Slowly, carefully, as if each book mattered. Elena watched her for a moment. Then she asked, "Do you ever feel like you're trying but nothing is changing?" The old woman smiled. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she picked up a small notebook from the shelf. It looked worn, used. She handed it to Elena. "Open it," she said. Inside, every page was filled with handwriting. Some pages were messy, some were crossed out, some were incomplete. "What is this?" Elena asked. The woman smiled again. "This is my first book." Elena looked confused. "It doesn't look finished." It wasn't, the woman said. Not for a very long time. She pointed to the early pages. "I wrote these years ago, then to the middle, and these after I wanted to quit, then to the last pages, and these only after I learned to wait." Elena looked at her. "To wait for what?" The old woman shook her head gently. "Not wait for results." She paused. "Wait for yourself to grow into the person who can finish what you started." Elena didn't fully understand, but something about those words felt important. That night, she opened her laptop again. Not because she felt inspired, not because she had a new idea, but because she decided to continue. She changed one thing. Instead of expecting progress, she focused on showing up. Every night, no matter how she felt. Some days, she wrote well. Most days, she didn't. Some nights, she stared at the screen for hours. But she stayed. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into something quiet, something slow, something invisible. Her writing improved, not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily. She began to understand her story better. Her characters felt more real. Her words started to carry emotion. But no one noticed. No one praised her. No one told her she was improving. And that was the hardest part. Working without recognition. Trying without validation. Continuing without proof. There were nights she almost stopped again. Nights when she thought, "What's the point?" But then she remembered the notebook, the unfinished pages, the slow progress, and she kept going. 1 year passed. Then another. Elena finally finished her book. But when she looked at it, she didn't feel proud. She felt uncertain. What if it's not good enough? What if no one cares? Still, she sent it to a small publisher. Then she waited. Days passed. Weeks passed. Nothing happened. The silence felt heavier than failure. Then one morning she received an email. Short, simple. We would like to publish your book. Elena read it again. And again. It didn't feel real. But something inside her felt different. Not excitement. Not relief. Understanding. Because she realized something. It wasn't the acceptance that changed her life. It was the waiting. The nights no one saw. The pages no one read. The effort no one noticed. That's where she changed. That's where she became the person who could finish. Years later, someone asked her, "How did you succeed?" Elena smiled and said, "I didn't succeed because I was talented. I succeeded because I didn't stop when nothing was happening." Because that's the truth. Most people don't fail because they can't do it. They fail because they leave too early. They quit in the quiet phase, the phase where nothing looks different, but everything is changing. Patience is not easy, because patience feels like being stuck, like being behind, like wasting time. But patience is not stillness. Patience is movement you cannot see. It is growth without applause, progress without proof, change without noise. So if you feel like nothing is working, look again. Maybe your life is not standing still. Maybe it is preparing you. Maybe you are not failing. Maybe you are building something that takes longer. Because the truth is simple. Fast success is often shallow, but slow growth creates something strong. So don't rush your life. Don't compare your timing. Don't judge your progress too early. Because one day, you will look back at this moment, and you will realize nothing was wasted. Every quiet night, every doubt, every slow step, it was all part of it. Patience changes everything, not because it makes things faster, but because it makes you stronger while you wait. And when the moment finally comes, you won't just have the result. You will have become the person who deserves it. If you are in a slow season right now, don't quit. You are closer than you think, just not in a way you can see yet. If this story spoke to you, take a moment and ask yourself, what am I about to give up on too early? Because sometimes the only difference between failure and success is patience.